So in today's video, we are going to look at three things. We're going to look at what outcome value is. We are going to look at the determination formula of how you can get to find out your outcome value, which is this. So we'll be getting in details of what that is. So for those of you watching me for the first time, I'm Alan. I hope solopreneurs start, grow, scale their businesses, specifically focusing on how to price with confidence. So let's get into it. If I were to look at what outcome value is, so in its simplest form, this is the real measurable benefit or result of a project, activity, service, product as determined by the stakeholders. And when we speak of stakeholders, there are two stakeholders in business. That is the seller and the buyer. So these are the only stakeholders in business. Sellers, those are the people who are selling out their services, selling out their projects, selling out their products. And buyers, those are the people who are buying all those done projects, all those finished goods, all those to be done services or kind of products, all right? So outcome value definition is now done. So now let us look at how we get to calculate, or we'll look at the formula of calculating the outcome value. So the formula is outcome value, which is denoted as OV, is equivalent to client desired results, which is denoted as CDR, multiplied by the impact level, which is the IL, over it, divided it through by the time to achieve, or call it the achievement time, which is the AT. Now let's first break down what each of these are. Okay, so first of all, with the OV, we already got the definition, so I won't get into that. And we look at the CDR, which is our client desired result. So this is exactly what the client is paying for. Every time you hear, what's your client desired result? Yes, no, that is exactly what your clients are paying for. And examples here would be, they might be paying for leads, say 10 qualified leads. Keyword here is qualified, not just well-wishers, not just window shoppers, but people who are really willing to take on the next extra step on doing business. It could be they're paying for you designing a landing page that converts about 5% plus. Maybe it could be even you saving them 10 hours plus of their time. So when the moment you hear people talking about what's your client desired results, or what is your CDR, just know they're talking about this. Okay, and briefly we'll look at an example, a practical example of all this. So if you understand what that is, we head to the next one, which is IL. So our impact level. So this is specifically how or what the results, remember these are obtained from the CDR, get to influence or affect their businesses, stroke lives. It could be in a positive way, in a negative way. It could be in a positive way. It could influence them into making high, like increase on their growth, or at the same time decrease. So the impact level gets to work in two ways. Either influences positively or it influences negatively. It influences positively by increasing growth, or negatively by decreasing growth. And the trick with impact level is that it is not just any random thing you have to do. It is something you have to sit down with your client, ask them certain questions, and then get to assess the impact. So if you sit down with your client and ask them of how importance, or of what importance will maybe getting you the results you want. That is why I said this is gotten from the CDR. Okay, so the results you've gotten, or the results you want as a client, how does it get to impact or influence your business? And you give them a number. Usually I like to use a scale kind of rating. Maybe from 0 to 10, or from 1 to 5, or from 0.1 to 0.5. So if you're to go with any of this, specifically I'm going to focus on maybe 1 to 5, and say 1, this would be lowest impact. then maybe if they say about 2.5, this would be medium impact. If they say 3 plus, this would be a high impact. You can even say medium, moderate, yeah, but I'm just giving you an example. So this is how I would assess or gauge the impact level of the results the clients want to get towards their business. Okay, now keep that in mind. Lastly is the AT, which is achievement time or time to achieve. Yeah. So this is basically how long does it take you to get your clients results? Yeah? How long, how much time do you need to take to get your clients their desired results? That is specifically it. To some of you, you might say within 3 days. Others might say maybe 7 days. Others might say 2 weeks. Others 2 days. Others 90 days. Yeah. So now you get the point. This is how long it takes you as a strategist, as a service provider, as a freelancer, as a consultant, yeah, to get your clients their desired results. Yeah. So now I believe you know what all these parameters stand for. We know what outcome value is, we know what client desired results are, we know what impact level is, and we know what AT is, or time of achievement, or whatever you want to call it, or achievement time. So now I want us to go through a practical example here. Yeah. And for this one, I'm going to solely focus on photography, given the fact that I have some bit of history in it. Yeah. So I'm going to assume this is me, or it could be you, and this is going to be your client. For you, you're running a photography business, and your client, for them, they want to have money. Yeah. They want to have money, but of which that money has to come from people. Yeah. That is leads. Yeah. And these leads are attained via images they post on social media. So when these leads get to come to you, basically they are looking for social media images to post on their Instagram, to post on their TikTok, to post on their YouTube, to post on their Snapchat, so that they get the leads, the qualified leads that are going to bring in money. Yeah, because desired result is money. Yeah. Now let's attach figures to even make it make more sense. All right. So assuming now you take photos and give them to your clients, and the clients, while you see it, they explain to you that their desired result is money. Yeah. And what kind of figure of the money? We say it is 20,000. So if you want to know how I got that 25,000, it is basically like saying, okay, they want about 10 leads, for which each 10 lead gets to give them 2,000. So when you multiply 2,000 by 10, you get 20,000. And that is their goal. Yeah? So when you give them photos, they post on Instagram and that. So throughout their conversion funnel, they get to 20,000. That is their desired result. They want to get 20,000. Now, when you sit down with them, you ask them the impact of what this 20,000 is going to do to their business. They'll give you a figure. Yeah? And in most cases, remember, I told you, that's where you get to use the scale gauge. You can give them even a figure, like on a scale of 0 to 1, or on a scale of 0 to 5, on a scale of 1 to 5. How will this 20,000 get to influence or impact your business? And for this, I'm going to assume that if you give them a scale of 1 to 5, they are going to tell you that it's going to be a 5 plus. Because whoever gets to get 20,000 in their business, that is an assured growth. They're going to have more money coming in. They're going to have more money to run ads. They're going to have more money to invest in their growth or skill development. They're going to have more money to acquire even better skilled personnel. Yeah. So 20,000 isn't little money. Now, as for you, how long does it take you to get them the images that they really want to use for their business? And from a photography standpoint, usually it is about 5 to 7 days. If it is a wedding photography, sometimes it can be 2 weeks or 3 weeks or a month, depending on how much volume you took. All right. But for this one, I'm going to go with a theoretical number. We call it 2 weeks. So this one can be spread out. You can say maybe 14 days, maybe whatever, but I'm going to use 2 as a number so you can understand. Yeah. Now we have our client desired result, which is money. This becomes a CDR. We have our IL and we have our AT. So if you plug this into the equation, we are going to have 20,000 multiplied by 5 times or divided by 2, or you might say 2 weeks, whatever you want. So me, I'm going to use 2 as a figure. If you do the math, your OV, that is outcome value, this is 20,000 times 5, that's 100,000 divided by 2, which is going to give us 50,000, yeah, USD, right? I hope you're not confused. Let me know in the comments. Does this make sense to you? If it's not clear, then let me know. I'll be replying to you in the comments, yeah? Now, this figure, it means that your perceived outcome value for your photography service is 50,000. And that is what your clients have to see in their eyes or in their mind. Yeah? So your business is not just giving them a service, but it is giving them perceived value that is worth 50,000. I hope now that makes sense. So you might be there asking, why do I even need to calculate this in the first place? Why do I need to calculate outcome value? So the number one big reason for this is going to help you achieve a lot. Yeah. But for one, that gets to stand out from the lot is that it's going to give you quantifiable ways through which you're going to connect your value to time. Should I say that again? When you get to calculate your outcome value, yeah, this 50,000, it gives you quantifiable ways through which you get to connect your value and time. And remember the quote that Alex says, why he says that you're only going to get more if you get to link your time to the value that the clients really want or that the clients really care about. All right. And so if you have that quantifiable way of attaching your value, yeah, to the time, then you stop guessing. You stop copying your competitor's price. Yeah. And then you do things that are backed by math or by numbers, because price is a numbers game.